Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports, and the Bulls have officially been crowned Super Rugby Unlocked champions after a 21-5 victory against the Pumas. And I tell you what, a lot of credit goes to the Pumas because it looked like it was going to get very out of hand at one point, and the Bulls looked very dominant and it looked like it was going to become a bit of a cricket score. But the Pumas came back with a fantastic second half effort and did themselves very proud, especially given the circumstances. You know, so many issues within the Pumas at the moment, given the whole COVID situation, lots of players unavailable, and they came out and they really did play very, very well. So credit to them for coming out and doing that. Before we get stuck into the game itself, please do consider subscribing. Bottom right hand corner there, smash like up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the match. Right, 21 points to 5, which when you consider the fact it was 21 points, it was 21-0 when the sides went into half time. In fact, it was about 30 minutes on it. It was 21-0. And the Bulls were just all over the Pumas. And the Pumas were defending with a lot of resilience, but just couldn't really, relieve the pressure. And the Bulls were hammering away from them, at them. But, they managed to get to halftime at 21-0 with the game pretty much dead and buried. And it kind of was going to be a case of damage control for the Pumas, in that how they were going to come out and sort of how are they going to be able to stop it becoming such a big score? How are they going to stop the way that was a very, very good Bulls side? And to be fair to them, they came out and they played fantastic rugby, and they really did go and put their bodies on the line, and they won the second half 5-0. They got a very deserved try, and they were on. The Bulls, they had opportunity to score more points, to be honest. And I think that they can be very proud of the fact that despite a lot of stuff going on within the union, they gave themselves a very good showing. And that really bodes well for Currie Cup, in that there's no such thing as easy games. Look, conditions played a big part. It was quite wet, and a lot of handling errors and stuff like that. But so if it was a different case, then maybe it was going to be a case of the Bulls really going on and putting a lot of points on. But fair play to the Pumas, who really did stand up, and a lot of players put their hands up. But if you look at some of the stats, Pumas defended pretty well, 84 tackles made, 14 missed. In comparison, the Bulls actually missed more tackles whilst making less tackles, which shows you how well the Pumas played in the second half. But the key areas was just in the set place and at the breakdown. The Bulls have been terrific at the breakdown all season. And if you look at them, they won 66 rucks. They lost just 2. Their breakdown success rate was 97%. Compare that to the Pumas of 87%. You can see where the Bulls got that go forward. You look at the lineouts, 93.8% success rate for the Bulls, 63.2% for the Pumas. And scrum success rate, scrums won. Look, the scrums were very, very pretty even, actually. And I think credit goes to the Pumas front row, where there was a big moment where the Bulls were were pretty much camped out on the Pumas 5 meter, and they kept conceding scrum penalties, and the Bulls said, we're going to go for another scrum, and the Pumas stood up and managed to win a penalty. And that was a big moment, So scrum percentage was, the Pumas won 60% of the scrums, the Bulls won 71.4%. But discipline just costing both sides. The Pumas conceded 17 penalties, whilst the Bulls conceded 12. And look, spare a moment for Amy Barrett-Turon, who was the first time ever officiating a Super Rugby game, the first woman ever to do so. And she's been making waves across the officiating landscape within South Africa for a long time now. So if you've been watching, junior rugby or sevens and stuff like that, you'll know who she is. And I thought that it was a pretty decent showing. I think she was maybe at times a bit lenient. A lot of penalties that other referees might have gone to the card quite quickly. She didn't. But for a first match, I thought she was very, very good. I thought her communication's quite good. She's got a decent sense of humor. And I thought it was a big confidence boost for her. And we need more of this, And it was good to see that the players respected her and that there were no issues with that dynamic, And look, and she'll reflect on this. And I think that overall, it was a very nice first step. Considering it was a first game, she didn't look out of place, which was the main thing. But in terms of individual performance, I thought Ivan van Zyl was fantastic again. He got a try for his efforts. Chris Smith scored 11 points. Curtly Aronson scored a try, worked very hard. David Creel made a lot of meters. And then if you look for the Pumas, the usual suspect, Devin Williams struggled to get into the game, as did Wayne van der Bank. Luther Obi tried really hard. So did Etienne Tago, try and find things to do. Look, shout out to Billy Engelbrecht. His father passed away last night in a car accident, and he played very, very well. There was a particular moment where he ran over Arno Buerta, which is no small feat whatsoever. But you look at the defense, and for the Bulls, Ruan Nokia 10 tackles made, just one missed. Marco van Staden 13 tackles made, one missed. So that Bulls pack just doing so much work at the moment. And that makes all the difference. I mean, Jake White said in one of his press conferences he wants the biggest, meanest pack out there, and he's starting to get there. And you look at the Pumas, some big performance. Pumzile Makondana was tireless on defense. He made 11 tackles. Alvaro Cornea made 9 tackles at center. So he did a lot of hard work. But a game where I think the Pumas can take a lot of heart from the fact that you can see that there will always be an inevitable gap, a birth between the standards of Bulls and the standards of the Pumas. But the important thing is that the teams like Pumas, like Griquas, to a certain extent, the Cheetahs, you are definitely not, on no means, sort of in and out, but they need to be competitive, and we want to make the Currie Cup competitive. And we saw Griquas last weekend push the Sharks, and now we saw the Pumas come back and put in a really good second half showing. Jimmy Stonehouse is doing good things at this union, and they're very close to being a competitive side, which can only do better things for South African rugby. The important thing is that with us going north and potentially having more money to inject into South African rugby, we need to try and make sure that the top talent is being distributed and kept across unions. We ideally you want to see the Pumas playing in more competitions than just the Currie Cup every year. Try and start seeing if we can have 5, 6, 7 unions playing in some sort of international, in some sort of cross-borders competition where we can just get the revenue going and keep more players in the country and just make our unions across the board much better so that we can have a Currie Cup that is really, really exciting. I mean, if you had to bring all the players from overseas back to South Africa, play a Currie Cup, it would be one hell of a tournament. And, that's why it's important to look after the unions like the Pumas, like the Griquas, if the Eastern Province ever sorts their rubbish out, like the EP Elephants and that type of thing. But let me know what you thought of the match in the comments below. That is Super Rugby Unlocked wrapped up in terms of who's win. There's still another match to come. Cheetahs will take on the Griquas, so we'll have a reaction for that after the game. So make sure you keep it locked on Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you very soon.